Warning, use of the PBS app on your television can cause you to go over your data limit for the month. And that's what almost happened to me. And let me explain what happened. Is normally my normal data usage is between 350, 400 gigs per month, and yet on September 30th, I got an email from my Xfinity from Comcast saying that I was approaching my limit. That's 1024 gigs, 1024 gigs. So, oh, what the hell is going on here? I even checked the previous months. Yeah, they were 400 or just under gigs, and yet I was up to 942 for the month of September. So I thought, okay, let me see what's going on tomorrow morning, and I'll figure it out then. So next morning, I get up and I see for October 1st, already it was up to 16 gigs. At that rate, I was definitely going to go over my limit for the month. Now, I don't get charged. I get for the first 2 months. I get, if I do go over the limit, it's free. But I wanted to take care of that problem, and why? I was curious. What's eating up all that data? So a few hours later, I was already up to about 25, 26 gigs. And so I called up Comcast. Make a long story short, I figured out maybe somebody is eating into my not into my regular router, because that's password protected, but maybe somebody nearby, some gamer nearby, is using my Wi-Fi hotspot. So I had that shut down, and the guy at Comcast, he told me about this app that I could download to find out what devices are using. Just in case, what devices are using up most of my data. It's called XFi. It's from Xfinity XFi, good app. So I said, okay, great. But I figured I wouldn't need to use it because I figured I already resolved the situation. Except I didn't, because by that evening I was already up to about 30 gigs. And then the next morning, I couldn't believe it. When I went to check, 78 gigs. Overnight, I gained another 48 gigs. Now, so first thing I did, I downloaded the XFi app, I checked, and I looked at my devices. It turned out my Amazon Fire was using 57% of my data usage. So then I wanted to narrow it down. What in my Fire is using it? So I checked. And I had my suspicions. I had a suspicion because I was thinking, what did I do differently in September? Well, one of the things I did differently, I downloaded the PBS app for both of my TVs so I could watch that Ken Burns documentary about country music. I watched about 8 hours of it in September. So anyway, it turned out I was right, but I didn't realize how much the PBS app was using more data than all my other apps put together. And yet, I know for a fact, so I watched about 8 hours in September of country music. I guarantee I watched 10 times that much on YouTube. And yet YouTube data usage was like 1/3 of my PBS app. So first thing of course, what I did was I realized, okay, this is the problem. It's the PBS app. So first thing I did, I uninstalled it. And then the next morning, after that, I checked to see how much data I used. And I was pleasantly surprised because instead of being up, I figured, okay, I'm at 78. So the next day, October 2nd, I should be up to about maybe 80 apps, if everything is normal, maybe 80, 84, whatever. No, I couldn't believe it. It was down to two gigs per for the month. So I think what happened is maybe somebody at Comcast decided to deduct those PBS data apps. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but I'm happy. So, and as a result, since today's the 6th, I have a total of 22 gigs. So you know what? I'll definitely be less than half of the normal data usage. But here's the big question: why? Why? And by the way, I think that PBS app was using data even if you weren't watching PBS. I'm convinced of that. But why? Why does that app? Why is a PBS app suck up so much data? This is the question for some of you techie geeks out there. Why does a PBS app suck up so much data? That was definitely the root of a whole problem here. In other words, using that PBS app in September, and I don't remember exactly when I first downloaded it, but it was. I don't think it was at the beginning of the month even. It was well into September before I downloaded it. So in other words, it was using maybe around 600 gigs alone. That one app, more than like double, like more than what everything else put together was using. Why is that? Why? What is this about the PBS app? What the hell's it doing? Why is it sucking up so much data? I would like somebody out there, and maybe in the comments below, to give me the answer to that. PBS app, why are you sucking up so much data? And thank God it's goodbye PBS app. So, see you later.